As we close out October, only one team in the Missouri Valley Football Conference is unbeaten. But the challenges continue for North Dakota State this week against one of its biggest rivals in northern Iowa. It's the 51st meeting between the Bison and Panthers, and it's coming up next.
Get your horns out! Tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down. The boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring the boys up to the line. Hold your horns up high because it's Bison time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the Fargo Dome for Missouri Valley Conference football here on the KVOI KFYR Bison Television Network. Northern Iowa and North Dakota State, a series that dates back to 1938, has turned into a great rivalry here since the Bison moved up to Division I LT, and it seems like every game these two teams play is a violent football game.
It usually is, and we'd expect it to be that way again. Both teams defensively very strong in their defensive line and linebacker cores, and so both offenses want to run the ball. Both defenses do not want the other team to run the ball, so that usually makes up for a pretty good opportunity to have a tough physical game.
And we know North Dakota State, we figured this was going to be difficult down the stretch playing some of their biggest rivals here, and they've passed every test so far. A close win at Youngstown State, took control in the second half against Western Illinois, so the Bison still have a lot to play for here to finish out October.
They certainly do, and the Panthers certainly do. You look at the opportunity that the Valley Conference allows you if you stumble out of the gate. UNI has played itself back into the playoff picture. How did they do that? Well, they beat two top 10 teams. Now they're going to try to beat the number 2 team in the nation today. So yes, the Valley is tough, but it does give you opportunities if you win the right games.
And North Dakota State has done so well stopping the run. Northern Iowa's done that too. It seems like whatever offensive line can assert itself has the upper hand today.
I think so, and I think the other thing too I like about the defensive line for NDSU is how deep it is. That will play a factor.
Getting set for kickoff, there's a look at Easton Stick. The Bison offense will be on the sidelines to begin. Northern Iowa will have the football first.
I know we just spent over an hour talking about it in the pregame show, but this is such a fun matchup when these two teams get together.
It's turned into a tremendous rivalry. North Dakota State has won 6 of the last 7 meetings. The only time Northern Iowa has won in the Fargo Dome back in 2009.
Yeah, that one wasn't very close, if I remember right.
42-27. That was kind of the infamous game. As you look at Mark Farley in his 17th season at Northern Iowa, 138 victories in school history. That is the most by any head coach right now in the Missouri Valley.
Mark's youngest son will be playing in the game today, and his daughter Jamie is the director of football operations too, so the whole family's been involved with Panther football.
Jalen Rima back deep for Northern Iowa. Cam Peterson on for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. We are underway between North Dakota State and Northern Iowa. Rima from his own 1. Cutting it back, trying to bubble it out, and Desmond Kane got in the way, and then coming back to make the tackle was Demetri Williams back at the 14. Let's take a look at that North Dakota State defense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Kevin Blaine, Minnesota.
Nathan Tangway, Niquantico, Wisconsin.
Aaron Steidel, Carlos, Minnesota.
Stanley Jones,
Bismarck, North Dakota.
Levi Jordan, Dickinson, North Dakota.
Nick DeLuca, Omaha, Nebraska.
Jabril Cox, Kansas City, Missouri.
Jalen Winbush, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Robbie Grimsley, Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Trey Dempsey, Lakeland, Florida.
Jill Nelson, Papillion, Nebraska.
Crowd on its feet making a lot of noise here on 1st and 10. Dunn, quick drop to Fountain. Stopped by Robbie Grimsley in his tracks. Maybe a gain of 1. Let's take a look at the Northern Iowa offense. Starting lineup also brought to you by Shields. We were not sure if Cal Twait would play left tackle. Looks like he is in uniform and will be out there. We talked about Miller. Darius Fountain, the leading receiver for Northern Iowa, already 39 receptions, that being his 40th on that first play for UNI.
Twait in uniform, but he doesn't appear to be on the field right now.
Inside handoff, Miller. Taken down by Levi Jordan as he gets to the 20-yard line. Will bring up 3rd and 4.
What a difference a Miller has made to this offense. This was an offense through 5 games that the rushing game just didn't hardly exist at all. Miller in the South Dakota State game gets his first start at running back and carries it 42 times in that game. And since then, the Panthers have been able to have an established ground game.
We will see a lot of Marcus Miller on 1st and 2nd down, but on these 3rd down plays for UNI, you will see a lot more Trevor Allen, a backup running back out of Waukee, Iowa.
Yeah, used almost like the NFL has a 3rd down back, a guy that catches passes as well. That's what Allen does for this team.
Bison bringing extra pressure. Dunn flushed, gets away, fires on the run, and it is a little bit low and incomplete. Fountain could not bring it in, and that will bring up a punting situation for the Panthers.
Nick DeLuca was one of the guys on the pressure. Coach Entz dials up the blitz. Here comes big number 49. He's trying to bring down the quarterback, Dunn. Dunn flushed from the pocket. And the pass, as Brian mentioned, was too low. Jagan was kind of standing there. Fountain cut in front of him. So I don't know which one of the two he was trying to throw to. It didn't matter. He didn't have time to get the ball off.
So a stop on defense for NDSU. First punt of the day for Sam Cooter. Kind of a low liner that will take a bounce at the 37. And then Darius Shepard will just take it and be brought down immediately to the turf by Corby Sander. Let's take a look at that NDSU offense starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Easton Stick, Omaha, Nebraska.
Colin Connor, Linden, Wisconsin.
Bryce Messner, Mackville, North Dakota.
Tanner Volson, Belfour, North Dakota.
Austin Coonert, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Zach Johnson, Spring Lake Park, Minnesota.
Connor Wentz, Denellen, Florida.
Brock Robbins, Cavalier, North Dakota.
Bruce Anderson, Tampa, Florida.
RJ Urzendowski, Omaha, Nebraska.
Darius Shepard, Blue Springs, Missouri.
So NDSU will start with Bruce Anderson today. Lance Dunn unable to go after sustaining a hip injury last week. Stick quickly in the flat, dropped off, and an incomplete. On the coverage that time was Jared Farley. We'll take a look at that Western Illinois, or excuse me, that UNI defense. Still in last week's mode, brought to you by Shields.
Purple uniforms, I understand it.
Preston Woods, Bryce Douglas, Adam Reth, Ricky Neal, 4 very good defensive linemen. Keep an eye, we mentioned on Farley, but also Keelan Brookins, who was just inserted into the lineup a couple of weeks ago. Some wholesale changes defensively for the Panthers, and it has worked out here the last couple of weeks. Anderson, not much room that time to roam. Coming in to make the play, Malcolm Washington, a senior defensive back.
Whichever team today can establish the ground game first will be the team that has the huge edge. Both teams know they want to run the ball, and both teams on the defensive side say we know first things first, we have to stop that run.
So the Bison will spread it out here. 4 receivers. Jeff Ilias, the tight end, in the slot here on the field side.
Now the Bison feel they have a chance to get it downfield over the middle.
Stick fires to Shepard. He's got it at the 45 and taken down at about the 50-yard line by A.J. Allen, but he's got an NDSU first down.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. They're isolating Shepard on Allen. Allen is the safety that the Bison think they can pick on a little bit today. You see him about 4 or 5 steps away from Shepard. It was a crossing route. He ran a seam, then crossed about 3-4 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So that's one of the areas the Bison will look to target today.
And A.J. Allen was kind of mixing it between linebacker and defensive back and was inserted back into the safety position a couple of weeks ago. Stick in the flat. Oh boy, dangerous pass. Intended target was Shepard, but tell you what, Elijah Campbell almost had an interception on that play.
Well, you talked about people moving defensively. Elijah Campbell's one of those guys that moved around as well. He started and played a lot at cornerback this year. Then the Panthers moved him to free safety, designed probably to get him more involved on a play-to-play basis, especially in that running game. But he's a good one. Campbell's good. He's a senior, very experienced guy back there.
A transfer from Northern Illinois. Play action for Stick. Fires, open receiver, and it's caught. And I believe that was Desmond Kane making the reception. All the way down to the 25-yard line. Kane, the transfer from Illinois. We have not seen a lot of him. Just his 3rd reception of the season.
He had 25 yards and probably got that many, but you see who they picked on again, number 23. So we'll see if adjustments are made. But 23 again, that is A.J. Allen, the strong safety, and the Bison think if they can isolate him, they'll have big passing plays today. They've done it twice. They've hit on it twice.
26 yards on that pickup. Now back to the ground game as Ty Brooks darts ahead for 4 to the 21. Brooks has really been on the shelf. Only played 1 play in the Indiana State game, had a hamstring issue, was dealing with another lower leg issue, and again had a very strong start to the season, LT, but injuries have hampered the production a little bit of the sophomore.
Well, he had tremendous opportunities in those first handful of games to get a lot of reps, and then you're right, he started having issues with that leg and then held him out again last week. But due to the injury, of course, to Lance Dunn, it's almost paramount that Brooks is able to be healthy and be in the lineup today.
Stick will roll out, fires, and that one is incomplete. Pass looked to be on target, but unable to make the reception was Sean Engel.
Stick's pass is incomplete. A little bit of an interesting route with Engel. He goes and fakes to go up. See the pump fake to get him to go up. They're trying to influence the cornerback, and as soon as the pump happened, Engel bounced it to cut it to the outside, but was unable to make the catch.
It looked like Engel probably would have landed out of bounds anyway. We'll bring up 3rd and 6. UNI will only rush 3. Stick going to the corner, and it is intercepted at the 2-yard line. Picked off by Elijah Campbell, his 2nd of the season.
First and 10 for the Panthers at the 4-yard line. Rolling on the field. First down, long developing play. Nodak Insurance Company replayed. You see Stick, this is his 3rd time, and then he winds up and tries to get a long out at the goal line. It really allows the safety a long time to read the quarterback and make a break on the ball.
3rd interception thrown this season by Easton Stick. All 3 have come in the last 2 weeks.
When Stick does not get the ball out on the 2nd read, then that's when the Bison have had more issues in the pass game.
So UNI able to hold, unfortunately backed up to their own 4. Miller, nothing. Robbie Grimsley, among others, getting in the backfield and holding Miller to no gain. Nick DeLuca also looked to be in on that tackle.
Yeah, DeLuca was the first guy there. You mentioned Grimsley. He rolled down from his safety position. The Bison went to single high safety on what they felt was an obvious running particular play to get that extra guy in the box. Here's DeLuca shooting through there. Grimsley also had the outside edge.
Man in motion is Briley Moore. And this pass nowhere near any intended target, as Dunn was Crossed up with his receivers that time as Fountain went deep.
I think he wanted to throw it to Weston, but Weston didn't run it out. He just ran a little, about an 8-yard stop route. The Panthers run a lot of verticals down the field. Their passing game is simple, but if you hit those verticals, effective. But in order to get the ball downfield, you have to have time.
And a new offensive coordinator here in Northern Iowa, but so far a lot of what the offense has looked similar to last year. Dunn throws it into the turf. A flag came out. I think somebody from North Dakota State, maybe Jalen Allison, jumped off sides.
Illegal formation on the offense. More than 4 in the backfield. That penalty is declined. Fourth down.
So it goes on the offense, an illegal formation. Obviously, North Dakota State will decline. And another punting situation for the Panthers.
So despite the interception, the Panthers not able to get that first down. The Bison will still come away with it with pretty good field position here. But what NDSU doesn't get was the opportunity to score because they were in field goal range.
Should get really good field position again. Shepard at about midfield, getting set to take this punt from Cooter. End over end. Shepard has a chance to return this one from the UNI 42. Gets some blocks to the 30. Shepard still on his feet. Pushed out of bounds finally at about the 22-yard line, but NDSU on a short field in good position once again offensively. We'll take a quick timeout. 9:33 to go on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Fans embracing the weekend before Halloween here in Fargo. Home team has the football, no score, but the Bison set up on a short field after the long punt return from Darius Shepard. Let's take a look at Easton Stick's numbers, brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. Completion percentage still very good, 13 touchdowns. Bruce Anderson gets the carry, and he is swarmed under by a few different Panthers on that play, including Duncan Furch, number 39.
Yeah, Furch and Farley, those two linebackers really get the bulk of the tackles. Coming into the game, Farley had, I think, 21 more tackles than the next closest guy on his team.
Notice somebody new in the backfield this time for North Dakota State.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That goes on Austin Coonert.
You're talking about number 4 in the backfield.
That's correct. Demetri Williams, you see, who's played specifically as a wide receiver, but the Bison have a chance maybe to mix him into the backfield a little bit today because of the injury to Lance Dunn.
In practice the last 2 weeks, though, Williams has been taking reps at the running back position. Keep in mind he was a first-team All-State all-purpose guy in high school.
And that time Ricky Neal, I think, jumped first.
I think he gave the 5 yards back.
Offside. Defense, number 7. Underneath the zone, causing the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Actually, a pretty smart play there for Colin Connor just to jump out of his stance.
How many times we say Ricky Neal's name today being in on a tackle or in on a tackle for loss might give you an indication of how well the Panthers defense is playing, because he was all over the place last week for UNI, and the Bison tackles today have to do a good job on him.
Stick to throw, stepping up in the pocket, getting away, and now trying to run. And he will be taken down all the way back at the 27-yard line by Jared Farley.
Stick is sacked in the backfield by number 46, Jared Farley.
Loss of about 8.
At first, I thought Stick was just going to take what he could get. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Right here, I thought he was going to run straight up the field. He tried to bounce it outside, maybe work off a block, but Volson could not get in front. Farley slides in there and gets the sack.
Well, Farley had 10 tackles against Western Illinois a couple of weeks ago. The leading tackler by far for UNI.
Well, he's a preseason All-American on the Buchanan watch list. I mean, he's not a secret. It's like Taylor when you play Western.
Stick to throw again. Fires the deep out high and through the hands of Darius Shepard. Brookins on the coverage for Northern Iowa, and that will bring up a field goal attempt for Cam Peterson.
Yeah, Brookins is that they list him as a linebacker, but the position has evolved a little bit. It's a little different. Remember the rover position that the Panthers used to have? Well, they no longer have that rover position, but they made it into a linebacker. But that doesn't mean that Brookins is not expected to be out there in pass coverage.
Here's a look at Peterson, who's made 7 straight field goals as an attempt from 44. Down, up, and it's blocked. And Northern Iowa defensively comes up with a big stop again. Adam Reth, I think, was the guy that got his hand on it for UNI.
Preston Woods was real close to it, too. I think you had 2 of those big guys in there, 99 and 61.
7:23 to go. We're still scoreless here in Fargo. Let's take a look at that field goal attempt from Cam Peterson. Did look like Reth, number 99, was the guy to get his paw up. That ball had pretty low trajectory on it, though, from Peterson. Play action for Dunn. Steps up in the pocket, fires! And it is caught by Isaiah Weston, who took a shot at the end of that play. Gets all the way up to the 48, and good enough for a UNI first down.
That's a beautiful job by the redshirt freshman to hold on to that one. He was popped pretty hard, but the Panthers ran the vertical down the sideline and a really deep cross.
Weimiller trying to get what he gets, still on his feet. Weimiller sneaks through a hole and eventually taken down by Trey Dempsey after a gain of 10.
Stop on the play by number 3, Trey Dempsey.
And the Panthers are going to hurry up. They're going to go to, well, some people just call it NASCAR or whatever, snap, get going. Not allowing the defense the opportunity to substitute.
Weimiller again, this time taken down after a gain of 2.
But that previous run is really why Weimiller has gotten the amount of carries he has the last couple of weeks, because he does not go backwards.
Jabril Cox coming in to make that tackle. Inside handoff again. Weimiller gets a couple of more up to the 38. Bring up 3rd and 6.
Jabril Cox was in on the backside of that one as well. He trailed the play down the line of scrimmage, but he has to be careful that he doesn't go too quick on that. Otherwise, you're going to see Dunn pull that ball out of there and take advantage of the flat that's left open.
Bison bringing pressure. Here they come. Dunn in trouble, lost the football. And I think the Bison got on top of it at the 38.
That's Plank on the bottom of that. I thought I saw. Nope, it's at 44 or 45. I think it's Jordheim. But DeLuca was the first guy there.
And Jordheim comes up with the recovery.
Boy, look at him come on the Nodak Insurance Company replay. This is an all-out pressure. DeLuca gets the ball out. Levi Jordheim slides in it. I just talked to his mom and his dad, Brent and Lori, before the game. They were here on a recruiting visit because Levi's younger sister is an outstanding track athlete, and now they're rejoicing because their son just picked up the first fumble of the game.
52nd career game for Nick DeLuca, who is moving around much better here the last couple of weeks as he continues to recover and get stronger from a knee procedure he had done back in September. So the Bison offense set up good field position again. Stick fires on target to Shepard to the 30-yard line. Gain of 8.
Back to the bounce by number 9, Xavier Williams.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Isolation on Shepard. If you're going to play it that soft, that's the read. Fairly easy. Pitch and catch. You go back to DeLuca forcing the fumble. He made such an impact on his Little League football team that they have named an award after him, simply called the DeLuca. That's pretty cool.
To the ground game, Bruce Anderson threw a big hole. He's got a first down up to the 24-yard line. Taken down by Farley.
This was blocked well. This is where Jeff Ilias is able to get in there, help out a little bit with Kunert. You see 62 Mesner leading the way.
Good look on the Nodak Insurance Company replay. Bruce Anderson will split out to the high side of your screen, and Easton Stick empty in the shotgun. Now Anderson will motion back.
Empty with two tight ends, different look.
Anderson again kind of tiptoes through a hole and then drags Adam Reth across the 20-yard line down to the 19.
Bison offensive line giving the Panthers a number of different looks. There's been some pullers and there's been some power. That was a zone zone blocking scheme without a lead fullback.
Look at Adam Reth, one of the captains, a senior out of Manchester, Iowa.
The Bison throw a number of different formations and different looks at defenses.
Anderson again. That time getting in the way was Bryce Douglas, the Illinois transfer. But Anderson ain't able to gain a few to the 16.
Yeah, Bryce Douglas, one of those couple of guys that Coach Messingham described them as stout. He's over 300 pounds, 6-footer. There you see him, number 98. His dad, Bruce, was an outstanding basketball player at the University of Illinois, a 4-year starter there.
Was Cole Big Ten MVP his senior year. Very good player. Played with Sacramento Kings, I believe, for a while after that. Bison will run it. Ty Brooks squirts out of the backfield, gets to the 21, but he's going to be 2 yards short of a first down. Farley making another tackle. He's been very active here so far for UNI.
As much of this game so far, and I know we're only in the first quarter, that has been played in UNI territory, and to still have this game scoreless, the Panthers have to kind of feel that they're lucky to this point in the contest.
33-yard attempt coming up for Peterson. Had his first attempt blocked. This one is blocked again.
Same guy.
And again, NDSU comes up with no points.
I think that was Adam Reth again, number 99, that came through.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com/mycard. We'll take a quick time out and be back with more from here in the Fargo Dome. We're still scoreless on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Cam Peterson has had 2 field goal attempts blocked, both by the same guy, number 99, Adam Reth. Got his hand on that one again. Weimiller grinds ahead up to the 22-yard line, gain of a couple.
Stop on the play by 93.
Jared Tuska coming in to help make that tackle.
That's one of the benefits that NDSU has that no other team in the country has. 10 defensive linemen that all rotate, play, stay fresh. Over the course of the game, it's a huge plus. Talk about a front 4, I say they got a front 10.
Weimiller again, met by Jalen Allison. No gain, maybe lost a yard.
I thought it was Stanley Jones from his defensive end position that really helps keep Allison clear. Yep. Jones has got enough penetration and took care of everyone on the lead blocking side that Allison, who plays the outside edge, stayed free and didn't give up the outside. 3rd and long again. Neither team doing well on 3rd down today.
Northern Iowa 0 of 3 so far. Bison bringing more pressure. DeLuca squeaking through. This one out in the flat, and a wide open receiver as it's caught by the big tight end Ndsu. And Elias Ndsu has a first down for Northern Iowa up to the 44-yard line.
Well, if you can survive the blitz, you've got an opportunity to make a play downfield. Dunn was able to do that. He rolled a little bit, gained himself about another second.
Play action again. Dunn may run. And he is drilled by Jabril Cox after a gain of 2.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Now here comes DeLuca again, shooting the gap. But then the Bison had 4 guys deep covering the 2 guys, and that left the tight end open underneath.
Dunn under pressure. Down he goes again as the Bison got great penetration that time. And I think it was Caleb Butler that got there first.
There is no secret what Matt Entz, the defensive coordinator, is doing on obvious passing situations. There you see Butler playing off the little bit of the block. He was just able to shed it and get into the quarterback. Dunn did not have an opportunity at all to get that back foot planted and an opportunity to pass downfield.
And another 3rd and long coming up, but I don't think you and I will snap it before the end of the quarter.
Would you? I'd want to talk about it.
Definitely not. Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank, and for a limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For more details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloan. Back with the second quarter from here in Fargo. We're scoreless. There's a look at Eli Dunn. 60% of his passes completed, nearly 1,800 yards, 17 touchdowns, 8 picks. Part of your North Dakota Beef Commission quarterback comparison. 3rd and 11 coming up. Bison bringing pressure. Dunn spins out of it, gets it to Weimiller. Flag comes in late. Weimiller gets to about midfield, 4 yards short of a first down. We'll see what the flag is here first.
The Bison got that pressure with 4 down. No blitzing that time. Played max coverage. Got to be a hold.
And Chris Kleiman will decline the penalty. It does look like it's on UNI.
Holding. Offense. Number 74. A penalty is declined. 4th down.
That goes on Jackson Scott Brown. Let's throw it down to Ryan Gellner.
Guys,
just on the sideline.
Hey guys, just a little more on Marcus Waymiller, who you've talked about quite a bit. He's a former walk-on, and you can't make this up, from Waukon, Iowa. That's also Mark Farley's hometown. He had just 1 college offer. That was from D2 Augustana. He started as a wide receiver. That didn't work out. They put him in last year in a Wildcat formation at Indiana State. That worked. He ran for 171 yards. They moved him to running back, and the rest, guys, is history.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Part of your First International Bank and Trust sideline report. And working out for Weimiller here in his senior year is Cooter.
I think there's a delay before the kick.
Trey Dempsey back deep.
Yeah.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Yep, just like his head coach, the walk-on from Waukon. Of course, the Allen brothers are also from Waukon, Iowa. That's not a very big town either to keep pumping out those.
Waukee, walk-on.
Oh, really?
Sounds similar, but different towns.
All right.
You do not want to tell the people from Walk-On that they're from the same town as Waukee. I can tell you that.
Please reset the game clock to 14:23. 14:23.
So that will back up the Panthers to the 44, and Cooter will have to boot it down there again. This time, the Bison will bring in Darius Shepard to return the punt. Had a nice return in the first quarter, resulted in no points for NDSU. And this one high and pretty deep, pretty good punt. Shepard will call for the fair catch inside his own 10 at the 5-yard line. So a good job on special teams by UNI, and the Bison backed up. We'll have the football. Still no score here in the second quarter from Fargo.
Bison fans.
North Dakota State backed up inside their own 10-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 7. No gain on that carry for Bruce Anderson. Ricky Neal, among others, making that tackle for UNI.
I think Adam Reth was the first guy there. We've said his name a lot today. But you just look at the benefit of the one long pass play that UNI got to Nissen. You talk about flipping the field. That one first down made this a 93-yard field now for NDSU.
The Bison had such good field position in the first quarter. A couple of possessions that started inside UNI territory. Stick out of the shotgun will throw, stepping up, going to take off and run, and then is dragged down from behind by Neal. Gain of about 3 yards.
Stop on the play by number 7, Ricky Neal.
Real interesting pre-snap move, I think, by Allen, the strong safety. This is your Nodak Insurance Company replay, and he went way down into the box to make sure that Anderson didn't come out as a pass catcher, guarded him, so the emergency route or the hot route wasn't there for Stick either, because Allen came down and took it away.
NDSU 1 of 4 on third down. This is a 3rd and 7. Stick across the middle high, and it's intercepted off the hands of Ilias and picked off again by Elijah Campbell.
Elijah Campbell. Stop on the play by number 8, Bruce Anderson.
May have actually been Jensen, the tight end. It was one of the two, 85 or 86 for NDSU.
But we talked about it in the first interception. When Stick has to hold the ball that extra second, see, we're tail end of that. It's tipped up off the fingertips, and that was Jensen, I believe. And now the Panthers have their best field position of the day because of their second turnover of the day.
All working to provide you with exceptional care, no matter your age or ability.
Yeah, Stick wants to get that ball out on time. That's one of the things that the Bison worked a lot on in the offseason and this fall. And when it doesn't happen, bad things happen against NDSU.
So Northern Iowa, a good opportunity here. They've come up with some big stops defensively so far here in the first half. Weimiller kept his feet and then ran into the official down to the 17-yard line. Good tough run there from Weimiller, gained 7 yards.
I guess that's the definition of a downhill runner, huh? He just kept going until the umpire took him down.
Dunn will fire into double coverage. A good thing that thing was overthrown because Grimsley and Jalen Wimbush were all over that.
Really what you're hoping is that the play fake will keep the safety away from that play. Grimsley did not bite on the play fake thinking it was a running play, so he was able to get the double coverage on James.
3rd and 3, Weimiller in the backfield. Dunn out of the shotgun. Weimiller through a hole and then dragged down, but another tough run as Nick DeLuca makes the tackle. It'll be 1st and goal, Northern Iowa from the 9.
Well, DeLuca made the tackle, but he had the center all over him. That was Lee Carhart. Carhart is able to get to the second level, get a body on DeLuca, and help get that first down. You see how the center is already engaged with the linebacker?
Two tight ends, both to the left here on first down. Weimiller from the line. Boy, he still keeps his feet. Tough guy to bring down. Wimbush got in there right away, along with Aaron Steidel.
I think Matt Plank was one of the first guys there as well, but you're right, he kept going forward.
Christian Jagan will also check in now at running back for UNI. Levi Jordheim in for Matt Plank at linebacker. Play action. Dunn gonna fire to the corner. It is caught. Touchdown Northern Iowa. Darius Fountain.
This is complete to number 10, Darius Fountain. Touchdown, UNI.
There was a little space in the back side of the end zone between Allison and where the safety was. Fountain kind of sits down right in there and has his 6th touchdown catch of the day, or the year, excuse me. He just finds that soft spot, sits down in the back of the end zone, fire it up high.
Extra point is up and through, and Northern Iowa takes the lead here in Fargo. 11:14 to go in the second quarter. The Panthers lead at 7-0.
Football Players Association to today's game. The Bison Football Players Association would like to welcome all former players. Number 4, Demetri Williams. Number 34, Robbie Grimsley. And number 86.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Gate City Bank has been serving customers and investing in a better way of life since 1923 with 36 locations in 19 communities across North Dakota and western Minnesota. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. 5 yards deep, Demetri Williams will take a knee, and the Bison will start at their own 25-yard line.
Locations here in the Fargo Dome in the East Concourse and Northwest corner. Today's game day special is
Take a look at that Bobcat scoring recap. 5 plays, 24 yards. Again, set up due to the interception from Elijah Campbell, and Fountain makes the 8-yard touchdown reception. And UNI staggered early by a couple of big plays from NDSU. Was able to come up with some big special teams plays, and now here are the Panthers leading 7-0 on the road.
And boxing terms, took a couple of standing 8 counts, but stayed in the match early. 0-0 after the first quarter, and now the lead.
Outside run. Not a whole lot of room this time for Anderson as Duncan Furch makes the tackle. Ricky Neal also there after a gain of 3.
Duncan Furch and number 7, Ricky Neal. Gain of 3 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 7 for the Bison.
Neal, the Missouri Valley Defensive Player of the Week for his performance against Youngstown State. Does lead the team with 6.5 sacks this season. Play action for Stick. Down the seam, had an open man, and Bruce Anderson was running free. Got behind Farley, but the pass just a little bit overthrown.
He would still be running free had he been able to catch this one right down the seam.
Let's take a look at your North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question for the day. When soybeans are used for biodiesel fuels, what percentage of the soybean is utilized? I'll have the answer for you in a bit. So another 3rd down for NDSU. Just 1 of 5 today, the Bison are on 3rd and down.
Stick 3 of 10 now.
UNI bringing some extra pressure. Stick gets rid of it. That ball is tipped and then caught by one hand by who else? R.J. Urzendowski.
Elijah Campbell thinks, I've got my 3rd interception of the day. It skips over him, and Urzendowski with the one paw. That was the same one hand he used to catch that excellent touchdown against Youngstown with, and the Bison get a much, much needed 1st down. There it is on your Dodak Insurance Company replay.
Elijah Campbell has been all over the place here in the first half for Northern Iowa. Boy, that play had no chance. Football loose. And a loss of 3.
Thought that was Hezekiah Applegate that just came flying through there, rotating in at the defensive tackle spot.
Xavier Williams in on the stop.
Applegate, Woods, and Douglas, I think those 3 mainly man
2nd and 13 for the Bison.
that inside position. But there, I guess you see Applegate's lining up at defensive end.
They
coming
move
in
those
for
guys
Neal.
around. LT for Surd. You know, Hezekiah Applegate listed on the 2 deep as the backup defensive tackle and backup defensive end. So NDSU behind the chains, 2nd and 13. Stick, designed run. Going to take off through the middle.
Quarterback number 12, Easton.
Gains about 5 to the 45-yard line.
Tackle on the play by 99,
Adam Reth in there on another tackle for UNI. Also coming in, it looks like Bryce Douglas.
3rd and 8 for the Bison.
Chris Kleiman and company needing a spark here in the second quarter, trailing by 7. Extra pressure stick. Tipped again. This time Duncan Furch got his hands on it. And another third down stop for Northern Iowa. Let's take a look at your answer to the North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. When soybeans are used for biodiesel fuels, what percentage of the soybean is utilized? The answer? 20%.
51, James Fisher will snap. Number 19.
Boy, the Panthers are getting their hands on some of those passes. That one was dangerously tipped up into the air. UNI brought pressure. Anderson did a good job of picking it up as a running back.
So Jackson Kuntz hangs this one up as Rima will call for the fair catch at his own 20-yard line, and UNI has the football back, leading by 7 here in Fargo. Well, the temperatures have certainly dropped in Fargo, but the folks are ready. Northern Iowa's got the football back, leading by 7, 8:19 to go here in the second quarter. Dunn out to Fountain, but tackled immediately by Jalen Allison for a loss of 4.
The whole thought process behind the play is that Fountain is going to be able to make the first guy miss. And in this instance, it did not happen. Jalen Allison on the Nodak Insurance Company replay came downfield hard, downhill, got the good hit on Fountain and a loss. Well done by a veteran corner.
Miller bubbles it outside. And taken down by Robbie Grimsley after a gain of 3. Maybe 4 yards up to the 21.
Grimsley, as he usually is, very active. This week in practice, not very active. He didn't take a lot of reps at practice to save himself for game day. He was first guy there. Jabril Cox, second guy there.
So 3rd and 9 for the Panthers, who will spread it out with 4 receivers. Dunn rolling, then inside handoff. Boy, clever little play to Trevor Allen, but he's not going to get the first down. Gained about 4 yards to the 25-yard line. Bison got it in good open field tackling.
Yeah, that's Robbie Grimsley again, Nodak Insurance Company replay. Allen at this point is thinking, if I just make one extra cut, I'm going to get the first down. Oh no, that was Hendricks, wasn't it? Is that James Hendricks?
It looked like it was James Hendricks.
I thought it was Robbie at first, but no, it was James Hendricks.
So the Bison defense holds UNI to a 3 and out. Cooter send this one down, and Darius Shepard, a late call for a fair catch, but is able to make it at the 37-yard line. Today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com/mycard.
Well, NDSU's defense has certainly done a good job so far today, but the offense to this point not holding up its end of the bargain.
Bison just 88 total yards so far today. Easton Stick 4 of 12, 66 yards and 2 interceptions here in the first half. Stretch play. Boy, not much room for Bruce Anderson. A yard, and that's about it. Northern Iowa doing a good job against the run. And again, it's Adam Reth making a play.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that Stick has had to throw it, obviously, as much as he has. To this point, it's not because NDSU has wanted to throw the ball. It's because it has had to, because the running game's not quite there.
And Brookins is down on the field. Keelan Brookins, the Wisconsin transfer. Let's throw it down to Ryan Gellner, our sideline reporter, has an update on some other games going on in the Valley. Ryan?
Yeah, guys, some big games in the Valley. How about Illinois State shutting out Youngstown State late in the fourth quarter? That might end Youngstown State's chances here to make the playoffs. It's 35-0 late in the fourth quarter there. South Dakota State with a big day on the road at Western Illinois. They lead 45-17 in the third quarter. Missouri State is just before half with Indiana State. The Bears lead 37-6, and South Dakota has taken a 7-0 lead in the first quarter over Southern Illinois. But the story here is Youngstown State, guys. A couple of weeks ago when North Dakota State was there, they looked like they would be a contender in this league, and today they've probably fallen away from the playoff picture. Guys?
All right, thank you, Ryan. Part of your first International Bank and Trust sideline report. And yeah, Youngstown State went through the gauntlet, lost some close games to South Dakota, North Dakota State, and certainly Northern Iowa. Now the Penguins might find themselves on the outside come the selection show in November. Stick going to air it out. Freeman open downfield, and it is caught and then almost intercepted, almost caught, almost intercepted, and falls to the turf incomplete.
Xavier Williams was the guy who did get beat and then almost picked it.
Stick's pass was intended for number 83, Gallus Freeman. Is
This one will be coming right at you. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Stick lays it out there. Freeman's thinking, I've got this one. And then he had to play D-back and get the ball away from Williams. He's the redshirt freshman. Corner.
Made a nice play on the ball there. 3rd and 8 coming up. Stick fires in a tight window and incomplete again. Jeff Ilias the intended target. And the Bison go 3 and out. Easton now 4 of 14 here in the first half.
We should mention too for UNI, Brookins, who went out of on that play, did come back in, so he went off on his own power. He's back in the game right now.
So Jalen Rima will retreat.
James Fisher will snap. Number 9.
And Jackson Kuntz back out for another punt.
For the Bison.
Kuntz hangs this one up, and again Rima at his own 20 will make the fair catch. Northern Iowa will have it right back.
For our 4th annual Ice Fest, presented by Clam and Mr. Heater, and hosted by Johnny Candle. Score early season savings and visit reps from the best brands.
Well, if you're punting to UNI, it's never a bad thing when that arm from Rima is flying in the air. He's a dangerous return man, and fair catch. Hasn't been able to try and return one yet today.
And both defenses have really settled in here in the first half. 89 total yards for NDSU, 74 for Northern Iowa.
Yes, both defenses have looked very good, but at this point, UNI's offense right now looks a little more comfortable than NDSU's offense does.
Inside handoff, this time Christian Jegan.
Number 21, Christian Jegan, the ball carrier.
Gets the call, gains 3 to the 23.
Tacklers led by 69, Blake Williams. Gain of 3 brings up 2nd and 7 for the Panthers.
Blake Williams and others in on that play. Blake Jr.
Handoff again. Bouncing off a couple of tacklers and then lunging ahead to the 25 as Jegan will bring up 3rd and 5.
Brings up 3rd and 5 for UNI. Bison Nation.
Grimsley's pre-snap reads have been very aggressive today. He really came down into the box on that play as well. So far, his reads have all been correct.
Jegan will now motion into the backfield. Bison bringing pressure again. Dunn across the middle, intercepted by Grimsley. Grimsley to the 10. Touchdown, North Dakota State.
That certainly changes a complexion. Dunn trying to dump it over the middle. Grimsley again with a tremendous read. Did you see how far he broke on that ball before it came out of the quarterback's hand? Boy, he's on it today. Grimsley's pre-snap reads have been beautiful. Most of the time in the run game, this time in the pass game, and the Bison get 6.
4th interception of the season for the junior from Hutchinson, Minnesota. And the Bison get a big boost here late in the first half. and are an extra point away from tying it up. Peterson adds the extra point, and we are tied at 7 with 4:08 to go here in the second quarter.
2014 Mr. Football in Minnesota, Robbie Grimsley coming up with the play. We'll see it again. Played as a true freshman, played well, and really hasn't come out of the lineup since. I love that up top replay, that first one we showed you, just to give you an instance of how well he read that play, how far he broke reading the quarterback to pick it off.
27 yards on that return for Grimsley, who now has 11 career interceptions here at NDSU.
Well, he scored a lot of touchdowns in high school on the offensive side. Here he gets one on the defensive side. And given how NDSU's offense has looked its last few possessions, that's the jolt the team needed.
And deep for Northern Iowa is Xavier Williams, and it looks like Javion Browning is also back for UNI. Bounces and is going to be brought out. Hey, a good crease up the middle. Good run back that time by the freshman all the way to the Bison 33, or excuse me, the UNI 33.
Then Demetri Williams came in from the right side to close that play down, but you're right, not before. He showed some pretty good speed right up the field.
So we'll see how the Northern Iowa Panthers respond here after giving up the lead after the 9th interception of the season by Eli Dunn.
Well, it was that second down play where the Bison only gave up about a yard and a half that forced that into being a passing situation. If the Panthers get a couple more yards on that play, they probably run it on third down.
Miller gains 3.
Stanley Jones first one there, Nick DeLuca second one there. Jones with a tremendous job of keeping his hands free. He was able to, so much of the defensive line is played with your feet and your hands, and he kept his hands free and was able to come downhill and smack the running back pretty hard.
Another good open field tackle by North Dakota State as Miller gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And Marquise Bridges coming up from his corner spot to make the tackle.
Really a critical tackle because Bridges cannot give up the outside. He's the contained guy on the outside. If Miller's able to get around Bridges, there's a first down and maybe more. So Bridges was able to get that one-on-one tackle, a solo tackle, a very important one.
And Northern Iowa's been in this position a lot today. 3rd and long. Play action. Here comes pressure. Dunn goes down. Bison had all sorts of people on the pressure, but it was Levi Jordan coming up with the sack.
Bison have dialed up pressure on the 3rd and longs from the top of your screen. Nodak Insurance Company replay. No chance right there. It was a tight end on Jordheim. Jordheim, just a little bit of he kept a swim move. He was able to duck his inside shoulder down, get the leverage on the blocker, blow right through him, and if he didn't have him, Grimsley was there as well.
So Cooter on for the punt. Boy, this is a nice high deep punt. Shepard will call for the fair catch, and he makes the fair catch at his own 26. So NDSU with 3 timeouts has an opportunity for more points here. We'll see how aggressive Chris Kleiman and company get.
Get a game day selfie at our exclusive Beat City Bank field. This is our turf selfie booth. Beat City Bank for a better way of life.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how aggressive NDSU wants to be here.
Proud to sponsor the player of the game. Be sure to listen.
I mean, it hasn't gone well, but you don't want to sit back and go, well, it hasn't gone well, we'll talk about it at halftime. No, you want to stay aggressive, be aggressive, and try to grab that lead.
The Bison just 23 rush yards here in the first half on 14 attempts. Anderson still on his feet, pushing the pile forward, gains about 4 up to the 30-yard line.
Tackler split by 46, Jared Farley.
Bison certainly not showing a lot of urgency here under 2 minutes to go. Stick. Plenty of time, going to air it out deep and overshot his target, Ndsu, out of bounds.
Pass intended for R.J. Ndsu is incomplete. Brings up third down for the Bison.
3 receivers on the wide side of the field. One guy stays short, hoping you bring somebody with him, a safety up, or the corner drops. Ball just sailed too far wide. Obviously, the defense has disrupted the timing, but Stick's timing today in the first half has not been good.
And a timeout called by Northern Iowa with just 2 on the play clock. We talked about the 10 sacks a little bit, LT, last week by Northern Iowa against Youngstown State. Pressure has not really been an issue for Stick. It's just making the reads once he gets in the pocket.
It's actually, I think, his UNI's done a good job on his first read, meaning it's not where Stick wants to be at the time he wants to get rid of it. And so he moves to the second check, and if that one's covered, that's when he's really gotten into problems.
Well, we thought both defenses coming in were playing so well it was going to be tough on both offenses, and we've seen that play out here in the first half.
Absolutely. The Bison do it with more players. They're able to rotate more in that defensive line, but boy, I tell you, both defensive lines are doing a really solid job today. And I think both defensive coordinators have been fairly successful thus far in when to bring a little bit of blitz and when to play max coverage.
Inside handoff, and Anderson met by Farley in the hole and dropped after a gain of about 1.5 yards. So 4th down coming up here.
Well, you talk about the importance of pad level. This is an instance where the tackler's pads were lower than the running back's pads, and that running back stops.
Deep receive for the Panthers, number 87, Jalen Rima.
So I think NDSU content to run down the clock here as much as they possibly can.
Jackson Coons in one formation for the Bison.
NDSU will get the football first coming out of the locker room. Kuntz, this one hanging up there. Nice high punt. Fair catch by Rima at the 25-yard line with 31 seconds to go. Stay tuned for the Proceed halftime report. Coming up here in just a couple of minutes, Beth Hool and Alex Egan standing by back in the studio.
Number 22, Stony Brook leads number 19, Richmond, 17-10. 15 seconds to play in the first half. Number 7.
It's been tough on both quarterbacks today. Eli Dunn just 6 of 11 for 52 yards. He does have the 1 touchdown pass and 1 interception. Easton Stick 4 of 15 for 66 yards and a couple of picks. Looks like Dunn content to take a knee, and Northern Iowa and NDSU will head into the locker room both tied at 7 apiece.
I think the Panthers happy to have a tied game considering how they were outplayed so severely in the first half, but kept the Bison out of the end zone, and then the Bison defense scores.
Ryan Gellner standing by with Chris Kleiman.
Coach, Robbie Grimsley excited this building, and I think excited your football team a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. We needed that play. We just misfired, had some missed opportunities in the first quarter. A couple times they did a good job on the field goal block, but we've got to be able to get points, and we've got to be able to settle our offense down.
All right, we'll let you make the adjustments. Thank you, Coach. guys.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Tied at 7. 51st meeting all time between Northern Iowa and North Dakota State. The Panthers lead the all-time series 26-24. Have some good games in the past. And the fans have come out in all sorts of garb today. Stay tuned for the Proceed halftime report. At the Fargo Dome, 7-7 your score. As we get set for the second half, North Dakota State will have the football first. Ryan Gellner, our sideline reporter, had a chance to catch up with Northern Iowa head coach Mark Farley.
Mark, it's certainly been a defensive battle in this one on both sides.
It has. They're good deep. It has a lot of turnovers, but we got to get our offense going.
How do you do that second half? What are the adjustments?
We got to run the ball a lot better, more consistent. I think we ran it, we just didn't stay with it, and then they made a couple plays. So it's a defensive battle, but it's going to end up coming to who can make a play on offense.
Well said. Good luck. Mark Farley.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And Coach Farley saying, hey, it's going to come down to what offense makes a play. We'll see if the Bison can get things rolling a little bit. Both teams struggling to move the football. Each offense just 4 first downs in that first half, LT.
Yeah, the NDSU offense averaging, almost, over 6 yards a carry this year, averaging 1.7. And UNI's offense less than 1 yard per carry in that first half. That's tremendous defense by both sides.
Both teams just 2 of 9 on third down as well. So that's been a down that's been tough on everybody. Austin Ertham will boot this one away to Demetri Williams, who will decide to take a knee, and the Bison will start at their own 25-yard line. Well, LT, what do you think? Courtney Messingham's going to try to dial up here in the second half if you're NDSU.
Yeah, well, you have to try to get the ball on the ground moving forward as we look at Easton Stick, what he did through the air.
Yeah, your quarterback comparison brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. Just 4 of 15, had the 2 picks, 1 of 7 in the second quarter with an interception. Bison go to power right away, and boy, the Panthers doing a good job stopping power and really stopping the run game altogether for NDSU, and it was Elijah Campbell making the stop that time for the Panthers. Let's go back down to Ryan Gellner.
Hey guys, just a couple adjustments at halftime. North Dakota State, they still want to get their quarterback Easton Stick going on the flip side of the ball. Watch out for that Wildcat, guys. They want to try to get something going offensively on UNI's side. The Wildcat formation has worked in the past. NDSU's prepared for it. We'll see.
All right, thank you, Ryan. 2nd and 8 coming up. Play action for Stick. He's going to air it out. Deep comeback route, and Freeman put on the brakes, went up and got it, and made the catch at the 44 of Northern Iowa. And the flag coming in, and the official saying pass interference on UNI, so this play will stand.
Pass interference. Defense, number 9. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Nodak Insurance Company replay, little back shoulder type of a situation where I don't know if the play was designed for that. Freeman makes an adjustment to the ball. He's looking here, and he sees that Stick is throwing it short, back shoulder side. A little stop for his wide receiver to make an adjustment to the ball. Freeman was hit, but he held on.
3rd reception of the season for Dallas Freeman, who caught his first ever touchdown pass at Indiana State a couple of weeks ago. Stick, quarterback keeper, up the middle, room to run. Taken down on the play by Keelan Brookins, but a good gain on first down to the UNI 36.
Well, the Bison tried a number of different blocking schemes in the first half, and I thought power probably, nothing worked great, but it probably worked as well as anything else, and here it is. You see Austin Kunert going in, taking care of Farley, allowing Stick, the quarterback, to get past Farley into the second level, and a pickup of about 8.
Desmond Kane in motion. Anderson tiptoeing through a hole and then taken down from behind, but he has enough for a first down all the way down to the UNI 33-yard line. Saw Duncan Furch come in along with Adam Reth for the tackle for the Panthers.
I'd have to say both defenses today, for the most part, have done a really good job of not allowing many yards beyond first contact. It moved, meaning the ball, and Anderson here moved just enough to pick up the first down, but NDSU has made so many big plays on getting that first initial bump and then busting a big play after that. The Panthers have not allowed it so far on the ground today.
Outside handoff. Anderson eluding one tackler, keeping his feet, working off a tackle, block there from his tackle, Zach Johnson, and gaining 9 inside the 25.
Stop on the play by 99, Adam Rick.
Yeah, Zach Johnson's going to be probably about 8 yards down the field getting that block you were talking about, Brian. There he's working on Woods. The two bump into each other, but that's the type of first down production that the Bison have been searching and hoping they would get today.
Play action for Stick. Wants the end zone. Throwing it a little bit short. And incomplete. The intended target there, I believe, was Ben Ellefson.
Ball was a little bit low, but Malcolm Washington made sure that he took away any opportunity for that low ball to try to sneak it through there. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Stick with the low line drive. Washington using that front arm to knock it away.
So 3rd and a yard for NDSU. Anderson through a hole. He's got a first down before the tackle is made by Jake Hartford. And the Bison convert again to move the sticks.
Just the fact that NDSU has gotten a few first downs, that is a good sign. So some of the things that the offensive linemen talk to the coaches, we think this might work, we like this, let's give this a try, have been working so far. You remember last week when the Bison had that 4th down play in the 2nd quarter after that long drive and didn't get it? But I think that drive helps set up the rest of the game, and maybe this is the type of drive that the Bison can use to set up the rest of the second half.
Ty Brooks in the backfield, gets the carry, squeaks out of the hole, and there goes Brooks to the 10, the 5, Ty Brooks, touchdown!
Well, not long ago we talked about the Bison having the ability so far this year, and it hasn't happened yet today, to take a play that looked like a few yards and turn it into something big. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Brooks bounces this one. He makes a gorgeous move here on Williams with a little hesitation at the 5 to sneak into the pylon and grab the lead for NDSU.
Saw the speed of Ty Brooks and added elements in the backfield, and this time the extra points is up and good for Peterson, and the Bison have their first lead of the day and take the opening drive right down the field, 75 yards for a touchdown. 22 yards on the run from Ty Brooks.
Another look at the touchdown run. He sneaks past Neal, so Neal's out of the play, one of the better defenders. And then Washington can't catch back up. He gets inside of Allen and into the end zone.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank, and for a limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For more details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloans.
When you talk to players and coaches about what do you talk about at halftime, and you come out in the 3rd quarter, you want that first drive to be a good one, you think it might be some grandiose thing. It isn't. It's just very small, minute things, and it's usually basics. Let's try this play. I think I can get inside leverage on this guy here. So it's nothing grand. It's refining what you work on all year long that you couldn't hit on in the first half.
And you see a new guy kicking off, and that is Garrett Wegner from Lodi, Wisconsin, on to boot this one away, getting an opportunity. Boots it down to the 1. Miller putting on the brakes. Boy, good run to get back to the 23-yard line. Excuse me, that was Williams on the return, not Miller. Let's take a look at your Bobcat scoring recap. 8 plays, 75 yards, capped off by the 3rd touchdown run of the season for Ty Brooks.
The Bison had 94 yards the entire first half and just got 75 more on that touchdown drive.
Had 4 first downs in the first half, had 4 first downs on that drive. So good production And a good start for the home team out of the locker room here in the third quarter. We'll see how UNI responds. Jabril Cox met Weimiller in the hole, and he lost 2 yards. You're starting to see, LT, why Jabril Cox is one of those guys that's being looked at for one of the top freshmen in the country. Eli Dunn's first half numbers brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. 6 of 11. The 1 touchdown found, but the really costly interception to Robbie Grimsley, which was taken back for a touchdown.
And the Bison blitz-wise really put pressure on him in the first half as well. Here's where the NDSU fans can help.
Rima in motion. Dunn, play action. Throws it out to Rima. And he is closed on quickly by the Bison. And I think it was Matt Plank that came in to make the tackle.
Well, we've talked about his explosive capabilities, so there's nothing downfield. Dunn's trying to look down. His verticals are covered, so he goes to the flat. Play gets forced back inside, and then Plank is able to get Rima down before he can try to work across the grain.
Oh, what a difference to have a healthy Matt Plank back, who missed a few games due to a high ankle injury. Gives the Bison a little bit of depth at linebacker. 3rd and 11. Bison bringing more pressure. Dunn stepping up. Lost the football. It is recovered by North Dakota State at the 21. And was it Jordheim again? Yes.
DeLuca knocks it free. Jordheim recovers it. It was a double blitz on the outside. DeLuca on the inside. Grimsley on the outside. So Matt Entz dialing up pressure once again. Nodak Insurance Company replay. DeLuca misses the initial, grabs that hand before the arm can start forward. Fumble, and the Bison have the turnover.
Makes you wonder if they might take a look at it upstairs. Of course they will, LT. They always do on turnovers. But
every turnover gets
close.
Looked at.
1st and 10, North Dakota State at the 21-yard line.
And call on the field was a fumble.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anything indisputable there to overturn it.
No, but Coach Riley and Coach Kleiman are trying to get out there. Let's get this play snapped before they say anything. But no, you don't turn it up. You can't. No, they're going to look at it. Oh, no. Bison, are you timeout?
Play clock was down to 1.
30 seconds.
Yeah, so we're thinking the Bison need to hurry up in case they want to replay it. NDSU just wasn't ready offensively to have the right play called.
Again, looked like Dunn was loading it up to take a shot deep to the high side of the field. Just could not get it off.
And this is our turf beanbag toss, courtesy of Gate City Bank. Congratulations to Bonnie Whit.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Gate City Bank has been serving customers and investing in a better way of life since 1923. With 36 locations in 19 communities across North Dakota and western Minnesota. Well, if you're Chris Kleiman, you have to be happy with the way your team responded.
Another look. Dunn steps past DeLuca, and then Nick's able to get that right arm in there. Yeah, that wasn't, his arm wasn't coming forward.
Demetri Williams lining up in the backfield, and Stick is going to take off with it. Finds a small crease. He slips through and gains a couple. Down to the 19-yard line. Reth on another tackle. Boy, Adam Reth has been active from his position wherever he lines up today.
Yeah, and blocking field goals, and in this case making a tackle. We talked about how when you keep your hands free as a defensive lineman, your ability to play off a block and make a read on where the running back, or in this case the quarterback, goes. That is key. Keep those hands free.
Ty Brooks now in at tailback. Here comes UNI. Stick drops it off quickly to Jeff Ilias. Quick gain of 5 to the 14. Will bring up 3rd and about 3.
Ilias ends up one-on-one on Allen, and depending on how much time your quarterback has determines what the route is going to be. Some pressure coming from the high side. Stick sees it, feels it, knows he has to get it out quick. His tight end also does that, sits down and gets it inside the 15. Because if there's more, if Stick has more time in that particular play, Ilias then can adjust his route and have a chance to bust it inside and maybe go for the end zone.
Kane in motion to the high side of the screen. Stick to throw. Flares it out to Kane, who made the catch and then I think lost it. And that was a really good job by Elijah Campbell coming in to rip that thing free.
Well, you mentioned Reth as a kid who's having a real good game for UNI. There's another one. Guy with a couple of interceptions, and here he just pulls this one out of here. This looks like it might be a first down. Here's the tail end of it. Kane cannot quite get the ball down secured. And it stays free, goes over the shoulder of Campbell and out of bounds.
So on comes Peterson for a 31-yard field goal attempt as the Bison try to take advantage of this turnover, and this time he gets it up. And it is perfect. So Peterson connects from 31, and North Dakota State takes advantage of the turnover and extends the lead to 17-7. 7:54 to go on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Back here at the Fargo Dome, 17-7 your score as we're almost midway through the third quarter. 4 plays, 7 yards off the turnover in 1:37 seconds. Cam Peterson from 31 yards out. As we get set for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff by Garrett Wegner, driving Williams back to his own 2. Williams taken down from behind. Nice play by Aaron Mercadell, who's been a very good special teams player for North Dakota State at the 26. Let's head down to Ryan Gellner.
Hey guys, just a scoreboard update as we look across the conference. Convincing wins for Illinois State at Youngstown State. We talked previously how that may just take Youngstown out of the playoff picture. South Dakota State with a huge win on the road at Western 52-24. South Dakota at home leads Southern Illinois. That one just before the half, 14-0. And then Missouri State in convincing fashion in the third quarter leads Indiana State 45-14. Fellas.
All right, thank you, Ryan. South Dakota State has found it again, it seems like. Handoff again to Weimiller. It's been tough sledding, but a gain of 3 that time to the 29.
But so far the second half, this third quarter has basically boiled down to NDSU's ability to find a way to run the ball. And the Panthers so far haven't.
Rima in motion. Weimiller found a crease that time and ran through a couple of tackles, eventually taken down by James Hendricks. Best run of the day for Weimiller, all the way up to the 42. Good enough for a UNI first down.
There was a split second on the Nodak Insurance Company replay bar. I thought DeLuca was going to get the ball out. There's the left arm, and Weimiller's able to regain control of it and get the first.
Weimiller again trying to work off a block. Bison bury him. Hendricks in on another tackle. Only about a yard that time. Now the one question with James Hendricks coming in from being a quarterback to safety, would he be physical enough to play the position? But we've seen that he's not afraid to throw his body in there.
Yeah, the short answer is yes.
Now look at this formation. They'll motion out of that.
And NDSU makes a bunch of adjustments.
Christian Jegan getting the call that time and taken down from behind by Caleb Butler. 3rd and 6 coming up for UNI.
But the last 2 plays, well, make it 4 guys now. The last 2 plays, NDSU after each play has been able to substitute 2 defensive linemen in, and now this time 2 defensive linemen in. I just think that depth that NDSU's defensive line has over the course of games is such a huge, huge factor.
And here's where Matt Entz has really decided to heat it up and bring extra pressure for NDSU. We'll see if they do it here on 3rd and 6. Here comes Hendricks on a late blitz, done across the middle. Good job by Robbie Grimsley, breaking it up, and then a flag comes in very late at midfield. And pass interference is the initial indication.
Pass interference, defense, number 5. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Just the second penalty in the game on North Dakota State will move the sticks for Northern Iowa.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Grimsley and Rima had that right arm, I think, around the shoulder. There was some contact on the right arm, and you look, did you see where the players were looking at where the flag was thrown from? It was thrown from the side where that official could see the right arm there early.
So UNI inside NDSU territory. Dunn will throw. Gonna launch it downfield into double coverage. Trey Dempsey is there, and he makes the interception at the 6-yard line.
Intercepted by number 3, Trey Dempsey. First and 10, Dakota State.
Well, Dunn has to try to do something to take the safety away from the play. You're looking for a one-on-one vertical downfield, not a double covered downfield. You see Dunn, his eyes don't move. He's locked on where he wants to go. He's going right side, he's going deep, and he's getting picked.
And Trey Dempsey has shown over the years how good he is at going up and getting the football. Already his 5th interception this season.
Dempsey controls so much with his communication aspect on the defense. That's the part that you don't get to see.
The pile keeps surging ahead. Still surging ahead. Still surging ahead. The Bison got 9 yards, and 7 of those yards came after first contact. As Anderson keeps the legs churning. And a player down for UNI, and it looks to be Elijah Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell, one of the many in that scrum. You just kind of wait for the whistle to blow, but there's Campbell, number 1. His legs are going to get tied up somewhere in there, and there the pile just keeps moving.
And then Mark Farley having a discussion with the official, maybe upset that play wasn't blown dead initially.
Shields is the proud sponsor of Bison Athletics. For all your game day needs,
But we got a little second here. Let's go back to, I guess, Trey Dempsey and not only the interception, but what he means to the defense when I'm talking about communication. Because Trey Dempsey basically controls where everybody on the field goes except the defensive lineman. That's Nick DeLuca's job to try to tell the defensive lineman to go. But it is so important, the communication aspect. If he goes in motion, you got him. And the way that he leads Jabril Cox around is one of the reasons that Cox has been able to make an impact as a freshman.
I remember Brian Shepard, who is now a cornerbacks coach here at NDSU, when he was still a player, saying, there's this kid redshirting right now by the name of Trey Dempsey out of Florida, who is one of the smartest players I've come across. And you can see how his knowledge of the game translates so well to North Dakota State, especially in that back 4. There's a look at Brian Shepard putting on the headset. Shep was a pretty good player back in his day. Won a few national championships here. Back to power. Anderson still on his feet. Look at Bruce. Rolling over defenders out to the 28, and a couple of more Panthers are down on the turf.
Allen's one of them. I think Furch is the other one, getting up slow. Furch is going to get up, but what does NDSU pride itself on more than anything offensively? The physical aspect of we are going to beat you up physically. And that first half could not have set well at all with the way that NDSU performed on the offensive side, and we're seeing it so far, how physical NDSU's offensive line and blocking backs and tight ends have come out here in the third.
We talked about Trey Dempsey, Bruce Anderson. Both are Florida products. Both of their families moved to Fargo this year to watch their sons play. And they are in for a rude awakening coming up here in a couple of weeks. In terms of the weather is what I'm talking about, as they continue to look at A.J. Allen. And there's a look at Anderson's parents. Yep. Out of Ruskin, Florida, went to Newsom High School.
And some of those Florida kids, too, that goes back to the benefit of winning national championships and having kids like Carson Wentz put NDSU's name all over televisions in the country. They know about NDSU.
And certainly when A.T. Austin The wide receivers coach here at NDSU had a lot of Florida ties, was able to recruit down there, and boy, has that been a golden place for NDSU to find talent, especially skill talent.
Randy Hedberg was telling me they flew down on a bye week, I think it was last year, into Florida, and he was standing in line at the concession stand to get something to eat, and a couple of kids come up to him and they see the Bison logo. "You're from NDSU? That's cool, man." so the little kids knew too.
Young quarterback redshirting this year, Holden Hodgkiss out of Lakeland, Florida. Anderson again runs it right up there. This time UNI able to stuff things up. Gain of 1.
That's the first time I've seen Jake Hartford in there. He was on the tackle. He's a redshirt freshman that had to play almost all the snaps last week after Farley was ejected for targeting in the second quarter. So Farley had a targeting call and couldn't play the rest of the second and the third and fourth quarters. And then Hartford last week came in and did a pretty good job.
Yeah, UNI didn't really miss a beat in the second half without Farley against Youngstown. Stick fires it out in the flat, caught. Really good throw on the run. Out to Connor Wentz, who makes the reception at the 35, pushed out of bounds by Keelan Brookins.
Yeah, Stick taking what was available, and what was available was nothing downfield because you had the big man Reth right in your face. Perfect pass to the outside, as you saw Wentz was able to catch it out in front of him, not have to make an adjustment to the ball.
And Brookins, a transfer that's still kind of feeling his way, a graduate transfer from the University of Wisconsin, working on his master's in human development.
Didn't play much the first 5 games, mostly special teams, started against South Dakota State.
A dangerous pass across the middle there as Farley and Shepard collided. No flag, incomplete, will bring up 4th down.
Jared Farley was described to me by an individual I talked to in Iowa as just like his dad in that he's very quiet and very intense.
So Kuntz on to punt it. The Bison did move the football down the field after the Dempsey interception about 30 yards. UNI coming after this one, and Kuntz gets off a beautiful high punt. Rima will call for the fair catch and make it at the 22. And that's where Northern Iowa will have it when we come back. Northern Iowa back on offense, trailing by 10. Just over 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Dunn dumps it off. Good job patiently waiting for Fountain to come open. Had a defensive end right in his face. Was able to complete the pass and pick up 5 yards.
Blake Williams in on that tackle. He kind of smelled the screen was coming, got out in the play. Actually, I don't think the screen was a bad call, though, as much pressure as NDSU has put on lately.
Miller cutting it back inside. Nick DeLuca right there to wrap him up. 2-yard pickup to the 29. Another 3rd down coming up here for the Panthers.
During the commercial break, Brian and I were just talking about how aggressive that Matt Entz, the defensive coordinator, has been today. That was a run play, but he was massively aggressive there because he was coming with a corner blitz. Jalen Winbush was able to smash down, turn the play inside, right back in to DeLuca. There's a look at Coach Entz.
Northern Iowa 2 of 10 on 3rd down today. This is a manageable situation. 3rd and 3. Inside handoff, going to depend on the spot. I think the pile pushed it ahead to the 32, which was what was needed to get a 1st down. Good job by Jigen, moving the legs and moving the chains.
Yeah, the late surge got that extra yard needed for the 1st down.
Bison will bring on a couple of defensive linemen.
Marquise Bridges in at corner now.
Miller out of the Wildcat is going to keep it. And again, the safety's making a play. Grimsley, the stop, gain of 6.
Well, the reason it gained that much because Grimsley was creeping in again, trying to come from the inside, and Weimiller's able to get outside. There you see Grimsley he was a little tight, thinking the play was going to stay inside, and then the Wildcat quarterback keeps it around the end.
Weimiller going to keep it again as they continue in the Wildcat, and he is pulled back short of a first down, I think.
About a yard short.
Now, the two officials have two very different looking spots, so they're going to keep the clock moving here and bring up 3rd and 1.
And Dunn is back in on this 3rd down play. I was almost thinking just stay with the Wildcat.
Power formation, I formation for UNI. Inside handoff. Jortheim got the hit at the line of scrimmage, but falling ahead was the up man who got enough for a first down. Northern Iowa continuing to move the chains, and I think, was that Farley in there at fullback?
As a blocking,
but I think he carried the football.
Yeah, you're right. 46, Farley, fullback, running the football. Makes a little move to his outside, engages contact with Jortheim and picks up the first down.
Mark Farley saying, son, go get us a first down. We need it. UNI, as we're under 10 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, have first down. The Panthers continue to move the football methodically. A couple of yards gain on that one. And UNI will have it 2nd and 8 when we come back, and it's the 4th quarter, so hold up your 4 because it's the 4 for 4 from PetroServe USA. Get a pizza, 2 cookies, and a drink for $4 at all 22 PetroServe USA locations. Back with the final 15 from Fargo after this. North Dakota State and Northern Iowa. A good rivalry here in the Missouri Valley, and it's been a lot of defense, making plays, a lot of tip passes, interceptions. Easton Stick, 2 first-half picks, and again, the Bison able to get some momentum back before halftime thanks to a Robbie Grimsley interception for a touchdown.
We figured that at least in the 3rd quarter, the Bison got back the 10 points. Really, they didn't score in that 1st quarter, and that's the difference in the game right now. But this is the critical drive. I think this is the drive of the game for UNI to determine whether they're going to be in it or not.
Dunn will throw. Pressure coming on Dunn, who got rid of it. And Dunn was flattened on the play by Jalen Allison, who came flying in from his corner position. The intended target that time was Trevor Allen, but UNI just not enough time to set up that screen.
Well, when you glance out of you're looking to throw it back, and then you see the corner right on you, there might have been yards to be had if that pass connection clicks. It doesn't. Again, Coach Yentz dialing up some pressure, this time from another corner blitz.
3rd and 8 for Northern Iowa. Bison backing off the pressure this time, and this play blown dead. And a false start on Northern Iowa will make it 3rd and longer.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 83, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
The success with the dual blitz, the safety and the linebacker dual blitz that NDSU has had, I think is the reason that player jumped right before then, because that's what NDSU was showing. DeLuca, they were showing Grimsley, they backed off, but there was pre-snap movement.
Jalen James, sophomore wide receiver, was the one who jumped for UNI, so now 3rd and 13. Here comes Tuska, dropped off to Allen, who didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. He lost a yard, back to the 39-yard line. Marquise Bridges coming up to make the tackle for NDSU.
Ever since Wimbush came in on that corner blitz and then had a big hit, he hasn't been back in the game, I don't believe. It's been Bridges. Tuska with a really nice job on the cross move to get the pressure. No blitz on that particular play. Nodak Insurance Company replay, and you see Bridges making the open field tackle.
So the Northern Iowa drive stalls. And Cooter handles the high snap. Another nice high deep punt to Shepard, who eludes one man, cuts through a hole. Flag coming in, so this is going to come back. Shepard out to the 35, the 40. Midfield, Shepard down the sidelines. Finally pushed out of bounds on the play, but again, a flag coming in way back at the 13. And I think they're going to get a block in the back on NDSU.
During the return, block in the back, return team, number 2, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Good job with the replay there. As the official was explaining it, you were watching it.
Boy, would have really flipped the field around, and NDSU a chance to put the football game away there if that punt return stands. We'll take a timeout and be back with more. 17-7 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Bruce Anderson gains a couple of yards on first down up to the 9-yard line for North Dakota State after taking over. Ty Brooks working off a block, squeaking through a hole, and then drilled on the play. I think it was Campbell. The big guy Campbell coming in to make another tackle, but a good gain for Brooks will bring up third and about 2.
Stretch play designed to get a few bodies out in front. Off right tackle, and you're right, Campbell did crash down to keep it from becoming a first down, but it still gets 3rd down and 2.
So 3rd and 2 coming up. Every first down takes a couple of more minutes off the clock. It's a power run hard up there, but I think it's going to be about a yard short by Bruce Anderson. And NDSU will have 4th down in a punting situation. Ryan Gellner on the sidelines has a couple of special guests that are used to spending their time in Florida. Ryan?
Yeah, we are with Bruce Anderson's parents. It's Bruce and Leslie, and let's start with Bruce. We have talked before, but it is neat to see your son now getting the bulk of carries on this football team. It comes from injury, but it sure is neat to see him as the lead back.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's unfortunate that Lance got hurt this late in the season, but I think Bruce was waiting for this moment to get a lot of carries. But he's enjoying the carries, but it came at a bad situation. But he is enjoying the carries, I think.
Brian, I'll let you take this play call.
Yeah, it was just a flag. Northern Iowa jumped off sides, giving NDSU a first down.
Well, some penalties are worse than others, and this is about as bad as it gets. Put the offense back on the field. That's what the Bison wanted.
Leslie, I'll continue with you. You guys recently moved to Fargo. Tell me what it's been like moving from Florida to Fargo.
The transition has been smooth and moving, but the weather, I tell you, it takes some getting used to, but we're getting acclimated.
You've been here in the winter in the past. You know you haven't seen anything quite yet this year, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, I tell you, I'm scared of what's coming. They say it's a lot of snow coming, but I think we'll manage.
And you've enjoyed Fargo so far?
Oh man, the people here are so nice, very welcoming, and it's a great place to live.
Bruce, they call it North Dakota nice, and they sure have accepted your son, haven't they?
Yes, they're very accepting of Bruce, and he loves it here. We love it here, and the people are wonderful here.
Well, we are glad to have you guys. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy your time and enjoy the last run around for Bruce Anderson. He's been fun to watch.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Guys.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you, Anderson family. Stick to throw. Brookins missed the tackle, and here goes Easton Stick, using his legs, scrambling out of the pocket to the 40 and lowering the shoulder on Malcolm Washington as a flag almost came in. The flag came out and then put back into the pocket of the official.
It's a first down. The Bison are going to have to get the sideline under control, but there's the takedown, if you will.
I'm surprised that wasn't called.
I thought it was certainly out of bounds.
Bryce Douglas may have gotten away with one there. Stick did pick up a first down. And a good run all the way up near midfield.
He made a real nice move in open field against, I believe that was Campbell, to get about another 15 yards out of the play. I'm not sure why that wasn't a penalty, but.
Back to the ground game. Anderson patiently through the hole, taken out by Furch and Ricky Neal at the UNI 49.
But we knew that Anderson would carry a bigger bulk of the rushing attempts today, just because of Lance Dunn not being here. But you got to remember, even though Dunn has had the impressive stats with the leading the country in touchdowns, coming into the game, Bruce had 20 more carries than Lance had already to this point of the year. So it's not like he's not used to carrying the ball.
This time a stretch play. Brooks trying to work off a block, pushed out of bounds. Good job defensively that time by Nikolai Jagai, and now a flag comes out. And this may be a personal foul on Northern Iowa, and it might go on Elijah Campbell.
Well, Malcolm Washington was hanging around there as well. Brooks turns the corner.
After the play is over, personal foul, defense, number 1, late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So that will move the ball 15 yards down the field, all the way to the UNI 31.
It's interesting how, why, when about penalties, and I don't want the job. It's a difficult job, but Stick was much further out of bounds much later with no call than that one.
And a timeout taken by Northern Iowa. So we'll take a timeout, step aside. 9:25 to go, 17-7 North Dakota State. .9:30 to go in North Dakota State. 1st and 10 at the 31. Mark Farley hoping his defense can come up with a play here. Stick play action. Going to air it out downfield for Ndsu. He's got it. Touchdown.
Well, I tell you, Stick had some issues in the first half throwing the ball. This one was a thing of beauty. His offensive line gives him the extra count, almost 2 counts he needs, right down the seam. Ndsu gets both paws on it, and whenever that happens, he catches it. Touchdown. Well done. Drop that one in there. Good arc. Gave his favorite target the opportunity to bring it down in the end zone.
R.J. Ndsu, his 7th touchdown reception of the season. The extra point added.
Nope.
Or did he miss it? Oh, he did miss it. So the score will remain 23-7 as Peterson misfires on his 2nd extra point of the season. We'll be back with more from the Dome after this. .23-7 your score. Easton Stick to R.J. Ndsu from 31 yards out, and with that touchdown pass, Easton Stick passes Carson Wentz for 3rd all-time at NDSU in touchdown passes.
Last time I checked, that Wentz kid's having a pretty good year.
He's doing okay. And this one kicked on the sideline and stayed in bounds. Now Williams a little bit of trouble, able to find a seam and get all the way back to about the 24. Again, Williams just a redshirt freshman from Burlington, Iowa, but a young man I think has a bright future, LT. Good athlete.
But the Bison getting the forcing the punt at midfield on the previous drive, that was the key defensive stop, and then piling the 6 points back on top of it. Key swing.
Let's take a look at that Bobcat scoring recap. 8 plays, 93 yards, and 434. Stick had that 26-yard scramble, which was significant, and then the 31-yard touchdown pass. Not to mention the 15-yard penalty on the late hit to Northern Iowa.
Yeah, the Bison offense close to 200 yards in the second half.
So Dunn will have to throw. Flares it out. A little bit out of the reach of his intended target. Elias Nissen incomplete.
Just the safety valve, if you will. A quick read downfield. If it's not there, you take the flat, and he misfires to the flat. Because NDSU's given him that. Hendricks is the free safety, and he's got to cover that flat. So there's about a 10-yard gap that quarterback has to get the ball in there. That was a poor throw.
More pressure. Dunn stepping up. He lost the ball again. And does Jordan have another recovery?
He does. Derek Tusk, I believe, is the one that got it free. Yep, Tuska knocks it away. And then the guy who has to know every linebacking position because he's played it all. His coach called him the jack of all trades, and today he's Mr. Fumble Recovery Guy.
And just like that, 2 plays, and North Dakota State has its offense right back on the field. Squeaking free is Brooks. Look at the speed. Brooks to the 10. Pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line by Malcolm Washington.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Squeeze the defense down inside. Really good block there by Tanner Volson. Boy, the wide side opens up, and Brooks gets her to the 5.
So Ty Brooks, 7 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown today. Boy, is he giving the Bison a boost after missing the last few games due to injury. Bruce Anderson back on the field this time. Met in the hole by Elijah Campbell after a gain of 1, maybe 2 yards.
Campbell first guy there, Washington second guy. Trying to follow Robbins. Brock got stopped at about the 3, and that's where the play got stopped.
Down to 8 minutes to go in the football game. A touchdown here, and North Dakota State has pretty much put this one on ice. Stick play action. Throws it up for Connor Wentz, who was well covered on the play by Washington. Maybe a little bit of pushing and shoving before the ball got there, but well out of the reach of Connor Wentz. Washington, a Fresno State transfer, a senior out of Houston, Texas.
He's still John with Wentz as Connor's all the way back to the 20, running to the sideline. Pass was way too high, though. Not much of a chance for that thing to connect.
This one blown dead. Jensen open, and a flag comes out on Neal.
And Neal knocked the quarterback down. Now all of a sudden, the refereeing crew, everybody wants to help him out.
And again, this has been a heated rivalry over the years. It really has.
There was no play. Before the play, there was a timeout by Northern Iowa, their second charge timeout of the half. After the snap, we have unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 7. Half the distance to the goal. It's going to be an automatic first down. That is number 7's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Well, what's unfortunate about that, it was 3rd down and goal. And now the Bison will be set up 1st and goal at about the 1.5. Let's take a look.
I don't know if this, Neal doesn't know the play stopped I mean, he's not malicious. He just gave him a little extra shove because if he wasn't there, he didn't pile drive him, you know what I mean? He didn't hit him hard. He just shouldn't have hit him.
And now Farley having a conversation with the White Hat today.
And the biggest thing is that the penalty allows NDSU to pick up the first down. That's the biggest thing right there.
Rich Edwards is your head official today, the referee. Flag came out right away.
I don't think you can say it was a poor timeout either. I know everybody wasn't going full speed, but Jensen was wide open in the end zone.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank, and for a limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For more details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloans. First and goal for the Bison. Anderson through the hole. Bruce Anderson's got the touchdown.
I think that's his 4th rushing touchdown of the year. Slides the Bison up to 29 on the scoreboard, and there's the Anderson family celebrating extra hard because their son has added another 6 points. Look at that gorgeous surge in there.
Yeah, Connor, Coonert,
and Connor, and I think it was Volson right next to him. Those 3 guys, just a little green wall smashing into the end zone.
So Peterson will attempt the extra point. He misfired on his last point after attempt. This time it's good, and it is 30-7. North Dakota State has pretty much salted this one away with 7:44 to go here at the Fargo Dome. Back here at the Fargo Dome, 7:44 to go in the 4th quarter. North Dakota State extending its lead to 23 points on the 2-yard touchdown run from Bruce Anderson. The Bison have outscored Northern Iowa 23-0 here in the second half. UNI just 43 total yards so far here in the second half. Short kickoff there from Peterson, taken by one of the up men on the play, Kendrick Sunken. Gets what he can.
Listed as a linebacker. Played at Iowa Central Community College before transferring.
Iowa Central's head coach is actually the father of Cal Twait, who is typically starting left tackle for Northern Iowa. But again, he's been nursing an injury here since the South Dakota State game a couple of weeks ago, where UNI went into Brookings.
And that's too bad for UNI because he's easily their best offensive lineman.
Very talented. True junior out of Manson, Iowa. Bobcat scoring recap. 4 plays, 26 yards after the Jordheim fumble recovery. And Anderson taking it in from a yard out.
Which one? Oh, the latest one.
Stanley Jones jumped off sides, but a false start first.
Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Listen.
You know, we know these two programs aren't the best of friends, but really it was a lot of the success that UNI had and where they had that success that was almost a blueprint of where NDSU wanted to be and how they got there. They went into where UNI has been successful recruiting. They meaning NDSU, started winning some of those battles, recruiting battles.
Weimiller of the Wildcat, but James Hendricks did not get off the field in time, so this is going to be too many men on the field on North Dakota State. Jabril Cox came on late.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Chris Kleiman not happy about that.
Well,
should bring the ball back to the 30, I believe.
They just marked it the wrong. Oh, they had to go back to the line of scrimmage. The original line of scrimmage, and mark it the 5 yards to get it back where we started right at the 30. Now Dunn will come back in. He was wide side as the wide receiver. Now he's back in his quarterback spot.
Now North Dakota State allowing just 121 pass yards a game. So far, they've only given up 57 today. Dunn has some time, gets away from Cole Karch, and now will get what he can back to the line of scrimmage. And that's it at the 30.
That was an interesting play for Karch. He did what he needed to do to make sure the quarterback stays inside. The pass wasn't thrown, so then he thinks, hey, I've got a chance to go for a sack. And once he gets close to the quarterback, two of those big guys just smash him right into the turf.
Delayed handoff. Weimiller caught in the backfield and then brought down. Cole Karch was really the first guy that was able to get a hand on Weimiller, and then he had help.
Stanley Jones was pretty effective on that play too. He's been playing with really good speed today. He made an adjustment once he read where the ball was going and got in on the tackle. I thought Stanley played exceptional football last week as well.
Here comes pressure. Jones just missed a sack. Dunn stepping up, getting it, and it's complete to Weston. And a good gain for Isaiah Western, the redshirt freshman out of Albertville, Minnesota, inside Bison territory to the 47. James Hendricks making the tackle.
Then he comes immediately off the field. Something happened on that play where James didn't like the way he felt, put his hand in the air and motioned for a substitute to come in right away, but he was the first guy that tripped him up.
Boy, Bison all over that play again, and Jabril Cox drilled Weston as soon as he made the catch, and then a flag comes in. Oh, is this going to be a possible targeting call on the redshirt freshman?
I actually thought that Tuska might have been called for maybe a late hit on the quarterback. That wasn't called. Then the play happened, and then the late flag comes in. We're getting to the point of the game where there's been a little jibber jabber going too, so I don't know if there's some of the things that we can't hear that might lead to a flag.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty. The previous play is under review.
Was it 9? I thought it was 42 that made the tackle.
Well,
Unless we missed somebody.
They called out Marquise Bridges, so this goes up to the booth and they'll look at our replays and make a determination.
Let's take a look here.
Well, it was 9's not in there, so it's obviously on Cox is what the call is.
Take a look here on the Nodak Insurance Company replay.
I think you can uphold that one.
I think it's going to be tough to overturn that. Definitely helmet to helmet. And if that's the case, you not only lose Cox for the rest of the day, but for the first half in Brookings next week against South Dakota State. Another look.
He didn't launch, but he did. His helmet was first thing there. Yeah, I think this will be upheld.
The Bison, who are already pretty thin at linebacker, would lose a guy that is really emerging here in the second half of the season.
Again, he didn't leave his feet. He didn't, you know, but
the number was number 44. Number 44.
42.
42. They still don't have the number right, I don't think.
That's a tough one as a player, though. It's a form tackle. And
it's just the way it's called now, and there's nothing Cox can do. Like I said, it's not malicious. He didn't launch.
Number 42. That's 42. Okay, so we're
and
confirming the ruling on the target.
And it will be targeting.
42.
And he will not play the first half next week.
That's tough. Look at our replay officials.
After review, the ruling on the field targeting is confirmed. However, the player's number was number 42. Number 42 has been disqualified for the remainder of the game. There's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Ken Myers, the replay official today.
I tell you, you can be mad all you want, but that's just the way the game is now. It is. Actually, the targeting that Farley had last week was not a malicious hit or anything like that, and he had to sit out. That's just the way it goes.
Dunn going to air it out. Single coverage. It is caught by Fountain, I think. He's got it. Touchdown.
Well, good players make good plays. And Jalen Allison was not out of position at all. Those two have been going at it all game long. And Fountain just won this one.
Pretty well thrown ball there by Dunn as well, giving his receiver an opportunity to go up and get it.
Number 62, Sam.
And it's a confirmation, and all touchdowns will be looked at again as well. Allison just couldn't get turned around. 1 foot down, touchdown.
6th touchdown reception of the season for Darius Fountain. Extra point is up and good, and it is 30 to 14, excuse me, 5:20 to go here in the Fargo Dome. Dunn connecting with Fountain from 32 yards out. Northern Iowa able to cut into the lead, and it's 30 to 14. North Dakota State leading here with 5:20 to go, and the Bison certainly anticipating an onside kick here from Ertham. We'll see if that's what Northern Iowa decides to do.
Sure would think so.
They're just going to pooch it up there, and Shepard comes up to take it at the 28 and then takes a knee.
That makes no sense to me.
And that's it.
Does that make sense to you?
I anticipate an onside kick. 1 timeout left, 5:18.
But if you're going to pooch it up, don't you go try to angle it away from the one guy who's back there?
You'd think so.
Okay, makes no sense.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Gate City Bank has been serving customers and investing in a better way of life since 1923, with 36 locations in 19 communities across North Dakota and western Minnesota. So the Bison back on offense, leading by 16, and Anderson gains 4 to the 30. Bryce Douglas on the bottom of that pile for Northern Iowa.
Bison need to grind a couple of first downs here. Second half, though, offensive line is taking control. As much control as you can have against.
Well, again, Northern
Douglas
Iowa
and Woods and Reth and Neal. Well, Neal's gone, but
held the Bison to just 28 rushing yards in the first half. The Bison nearly 150 here in the second half. Not much room that time. Maybe a yard for Bruce Anderson. Adam Reth in on another tackle.
now Neal comes back into the game.
Third and 6 upcoming. We're under 4 minutes to go. Bison content to hand it off again, and Anderson almost kept his feet through the hole, but he is dragged down at the 33, 3 yards short of a first down. Ref in on another stop for UNI.
But the run does allow NDSU to get this thing down to close to 3 minutes before the punt. You know, one of the questions coming in today is how would the offensive tackles for NDSU do against the edge rush pressure that was so effective last week against Youngstown? And well, you look at the scoreboard and you know the answer to that. Even though Stick, again, his passing numbers aren't going to be great, but it wasn't because he was being breathed on heavily from the outside.
Kuntz, nice high, deep spiraling punt. Rima has to call for another fair catch back at his own 19-yard line.
He hasn't come close today to having a chance to make a play in the punt return game. So anytime he's fair catching it, you're doing a good job.
We talked about Jackson Kuntz last year not getting a lot of depth on his punts. This year, the average better, the net average better, but also the depth much better. I talked to Randy Hedberg about that. It's because he never really was in a weight training program until he got here. They just did not do that at SMU. Then he got here, put on some strength and some weight, and wouldn't you know it, he's kicking the ball further.
Isn't that strange, how strange that sounds, that SMU and the level of football that they play, that you're not in a weight program, no matter what position? Odd. Very strange.
Dunn dropping it off to Trevor Allen, who's really not been a factor today. Quick tackle in the flat there by Jalen Allison for a gain of 1.
Well, Dunn was able to get the touchdown pass downfield to Fountain the last time that the Panthers had the ball, but you know that NDSU's corners and especially safeties are playing extra deep here, so all that was available was the check down. NDSU will give him the check down, no problem, for the next 2.5 minutes.
Pressure applied. Allen caught it, but boy, the Bison all over it. And again, it's the safety, Robbie Grimsley, coming in to make the tackle at the 16 for a loss of 4.
Man, he's played well today. And I don't know how good he feels physically, but you wouldn't know it by the way he's played today.
So 3rd and 13 upcoming for the Panthers. Butler on the rush, and Butler's got the sack back at the 7-yard line.
He's so quick. One of those guys so fast off the ball that NDSU has. Caleb Butler. Coach Klanderman said we just expect so much for him, and he continues to deliver.
Look at the Nodak Insurance Company replay. 95 right around Bryce Sweeney, who's having to play tackle today, normally a guard, but with the injury to Twait, some shuffling on the offensive line.
Well, you need the speed to get there, but then you need the strength to make sure that you can blow through the tackle and make the corner to get around the edge of that tackle to make the corner to get the sack.
So Cooter will punt it away, and North Dakota State can kneel it out. Nobody deep for NDSU. They're content to let the ball bounce as deep as UNI can get it. Ends up being a pretty good punt, though, for Cooter, all the way down to the 16-yard line. This copyrighted broadcast is property of North Dakota State University. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or distribution without the consent of NDSU is strictly prohibited. So NDSU will move to 8-0, setting up a showdown with South Dakota State next Saturday in Brookings.
2 o'clock start to the game, 1 o'clock start. The Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show.
Hard to make of the Jacks. Had a couple of strange anomalies. Scored 62 last week, put on 50-something more today.
Offense, yes, but when you watch the Jackrabbits defense, sometimes you scratch your head because their defense, in a word at times, has been terrible.
With today's win, North Dakota State reaches 100 wins in this decade.
But South Dakota State is 6-2 and 4-2 in the league, so certainly very much alive if they can get hot here at the end of the year to play themselves into a potential playoff seed.
It was just announced to the crowd in here, but the victory, 100 in this decade for NDSU.
And NDSU will move to 91-7 in their last 98 games. That's not bad, LT.
Not bad at all. It's the most Division I football wins in the country the last 6 years.
The two teams will exchange handshakes. Northern Iowa will drop to 4-4 and will try to rebound at home against South Dakota next Saturday. The Yotes losing Chris Streveler on the first series today, quarterback that has had an outstanding year, so we'll see if that factors into next week's game. But again, the Panthers, even at 7-4, if they can win out here in November, have to feel good about their playoff chances based on some of the wins they do have.
But we talked about it off the top on how the Valley Conference allows you an opportunity to play yourself back into things, and I tell you, that's exactly what you and I did last week and the week before. Today, like you mentioned, won't kill them if they don't slip up somewhere again down the line.
And Indiana State and Missouri State, the last two games on the schedule for UNI. Chris Kleiman is standing by with Ryan Gellner.
I thought your offense, in particular the offensive line, played really well the second half.
They really did. We challenged them at halftime, and hats off to our offensive staff. They did a great job of making some adjustments, and kids just played really hard. This was a big win for us.
Defensively, blitz after blitz, you really got to their quarterback in the backfield a lot.
Yeah, we thought we could get after him, so we didn't think he was going to scramble. Nick DeLuca's an NFL kid, and he made play after play and great coverage, and so happy for our guys. Great team win.
Real quickly, it was announced to the crowd, 100 wins this century for NDSU. That is an impressive number.
We'll try to go 1-0 next week.
Thank you. I'd expect nothing less from you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Coach Kleiman. Guys, one of a kind.
Yeah, he is. Coaches never celebrate the past victories. It's all about going 1-0 that week.
Yeah, how did you get to the top of the mountain? One step at a time.
We'll take a quick timeout and be back with more from here in the Fargo Dome. North Dakota State 30-14 victors over UNI to move to 8-0 on the season. A bunch of fans in green and gold exiting the facility. Happy that their team is 8-0 moving into the month of November. And a big reason why the Bison had so much success defensively, holding Northern Iowa to just 157 total yards today, was number 5 Robbie Grimsley, who was flying around all over the place and made a big play early in that, late I should say, in that second quarter to get the Bison on the scoreboard.
Yeah, scored the first touchdown of the game for the Bison. I just love how far he went to stand and to get in front of that ball. I mean, he knew where the quarterback was going before I think the quarterback did, and then Grimsley was all over the place in the run game. He was blitzing, he was intercepting passes, he was making tackles. Robbie Grimsley, the player of the game. Touchdown scorer today.
Interception, tackle for loss, 6 tackles total for Robbie Grimsley, and the Bison safeties overall played very well, and really everybody in the secondary did as well, holding UNI to just 109 passing yards today and forcing several turnovers from Eli Dunn. We'll be back to wrap things up from here at the Fargo Dome after this timeout. Back to wrap things up here at the Fargo Dome. 30-14, your final. North Dakota State remains unbeaten, the only unbeaten program right now in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Northern Iowa dropping to 4-4 on the season as we take a look at your final stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers.
Well, as you look at the final numbers, I'm going to break them down a little bit by the second half, and just to show you how dominant the Bison were in that second half. Rushing yards in the second half, NDSU 141. Passing yards, NDSU on only 8 passes, 4 completions, 100 yards passing in the second half, and the Bison had 94 total yards at halftime to push that over 300. Pretty good job.
Yeah, and really took control right away by marching the opening possession of that second half right down the field, and then getting the turnover, converting a field goal, and giving themselves some breathing room over their rivals from Cedar Falls. The Bison have now beaten Northern Iowa 7 of the last 8 times to have played, and it is 26-25 all time in the series. Northern Iowa still leads by 1 meeting. That was your stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. Real quickly, LT, set up next week. South Dakota State playing much better football the last couple of weeks. They're putting a lot of points on the board, and they'll be ready in the Dakota Marker game.
They certainly will. With the Jacks, it's all about offense. They will try to outscore you because they can't stop you. And we'll see if that changes next week on the road, outside, in the brand new stadium. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But NDSU against South Dakota State, you talk about a rivalry game here. There goes another one. Always fun when the Dakota marker's on the line.
A look at the remainder of the schedule. South Dakota State on the road, then here in a couple of weeks against South Dakota, who's in a battle with Southern Illinois today, and then Illinois State on the road to wrap things up. We will have the remainder 3 contests for you on the KVOI, KFYR Bison Television Network. Be sure to join us next Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock for the pregame show, 2 o'clock for the kickoff. Should be a fun one down at Brookings at Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium. Well, for our entire crew, our producer Westis Jardins, our executive producer Jim Wareham, Ryan Gellner, Beth Hool, Alex Egan, Lee Timmerman. This is Brian Shawn saying so long from the Fargo Dome. North Dakota State wins it 30-14. We'll see you next Saturday from a frigid Brookings. Have a good Saturday evening, everyone.